This is where Billy should have said to himself, "You know what? Let's not do a debate anymore. When a man has this many accolades, screw it. When a man has a bookshelf behind him, that's a dangerous man. That's sometimes you get spanked so bad in a debate that literally you're just gonna sue the person who beat you so bad. What is happening? There's a name making waves in the online Christian sphere right now. His name goes by Wesley Huff of West Huff, his YouTube channel. And yes, if anyone knows who Billy Carson is, he's basically some guys who are making crazy claims about the Bible, and he says nobody wanted to debate him on it. Nobody wants to debate him about his truth claims about the Bible. Something about Jesus having a wife and apparently him not being crucified. And he has the proof. He has the proof to demonstrate it. The great and almighty Sinai Bible. I've never heard that name ever to begin with. But if anything, before we get into this video, because this is the latest that's happened, this is the update, because this happened over a month ago now. Let's actually tune back the clocks and actually watch how this man, good old Billy, got destroyed by an actual biblical scholar. Which is, well, let's get into it.
I'm here with my good man, Billy Carson. If you want to, I guess, go first, Billy, as to how you came about, like the findings where it seems that Jesus was not crucified, or that's not accurate.
Sure. And in my videos, and
so we'll get into his videos. The findings that Jesus wasn't crucified. That is wild. When I first heard this, I was thinking to myself, okay, so the atheists and believing scholars literally testify that this is just from a fact by just a consistent witness testimony, fragments of manuscripts of biased sources of people of the community of the church, and everybody else saying, okay, yeah, that Jesus guy, that those crazy religious people follow, this Yeshua person. How are you gonna? What evidence do you have to bring to the table? This should be good.
if you listen to the podcast, the statement is according to the Sinai Bible, and the text there actually is about 12 to 14,000 differences between the Sinai Bible and the King James Version of the Bible, which came much later. And then also, one of the things that were interesting is that they discovered the book of Jesus is, according to some scholars, that's a little controversial, but they claim that this is an accurate record that Jesus may have even been married, which then, adds more, if that's true, it adds more to, the hypothesis that maybe he wasn't crucified. I just personally believe that Jesus was an amazing human being. I don't think that he was the Son of God in the sense that he's God, but that we're all gods. As he said, ye are gods. And I just personally believe that the return of the Christ is the return of the Christ consciousness. When we can all achieve a certain level of knowledge.
Not that darn Christ consciousness nonsense. I swear, that's the most goofiest topic I've ever heard as a Christian. Jesus, the man, awakened to a Christ consciousness and taught others how to awaken to a Christ consciousness he obtained divinity by looking inward. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense.
Knowledge, wisdom, passion, understanding, empathy, love that he came to this planet with, and we get that in our mind and our conscience, and we can act on those incredible emotions and that understanding, that the whole world's going to transform instantaneously. And I think at the second coming is the coming of the Christ consciousness to the planet, not a human being flying back to Earth to save people. That's just my personal understanding of how I've perceived it over many, many years of going through this information and going through all this text.
When you say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically?
It's the biblical text that was written, that made it into you can actually look it up on Amazon. It's a Bible I have a version at home. It's called the Sinai Bible, right, from Mount Sinai. I'm assuming that's the mountain that they're referencing there. But they put together their own version of the biblical text prior to the King James Version being put out.
Sure. So when you refer to the Sinai Bible, would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus, like the codex that?
Oh, so it's gonna. I think the capture wasn't pretty good, so it's kind of gonna freeze. But as long as we can hear the audio, we'll be good.
Comes okay. That's why I was trying to get some clarification, because so you can actually go and see Codex Sinaiticus is at the British Library, so you can go and see it. It's on display, and the British Library has actually digitized the entire manuscript. So I work with manuscripts in my linguistic work. I'm an expert on early Christian scribal culture, and particularly in Greek and Coptic manuscripts. I actually have a facsimile, so I have a photocopy that was done by the British Library of Codex Sinaiticus that I work.
This is where Billy should have said to himself, "You know what? Let's not do a debate anymore. When a man has this many accolades, screw it. When a man has a bookshelf behind him, that's a dangerous man. That's like you know the old saying, knowledge is power. And the fact that this man literally has books that literally he just turns back around and grabs exactly the one he needs and immediately turns to the page. Oh my goodness, Billy should have been quaking in his boots, because this plays into the first tactic. First, get you away from your general statements and your vague terminology, the Sinai Bible. What exactly are you referencing? Oh, bingo, you're cooked. He's already done. He doesn't even know it yet, but let's keep watching.
Work with in my office. So I have it here, and the only reason I ask for clarification is because I want to make sure that what I'm addressing is actually what you mean.
Gotcha.
And not addressing something else. Because the Codex Sinaiticus in particular is just it's a 4th century Greek manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from approximately between 325 and 350 AD. Mm-hmm. And its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from. So my curiosity is just simply in kind of exploring, when you say that it denies the crucifixion or that the crucifixion isn't there. I mean, I can go on right now, Codex Sinaiticus, and I can look up the end of, say, Matthew 27, where it has Jesus being crucified.
Right. There you go.
And that's in Codex Sinaiticus, or, the John 19, or any of the other ones.
Look at him looking on his phone right now. He's like, "Oh crap! Oh, I think I've made a great mistake. Let me text my family members. My credibility has just went down the drain in a matter of 5 seconds." I'm joking, but he's probably looking up something like, "Crap! What? I need to look up my notes. I need to find something."
So, I think my confusion is that it doesn't read any differently. So, actually, are you able to pull up a website with the
I'm looking for it right now to make sure I have the version that I'm looking at.
I'm just curious, like the Sinai Bible, where was that piece
I found
discovered?
the text where I was referencing. Actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
I'm pretty sure everyone's heard that. I've misquoted so many videos of him consistently saying Sinai Bible, and at the slightest grip of pushback, he folds. That's the power of the truth, gentlemen. That's the power of the truth, ladies and gentlemen, I should say. Because my boy been talking all types of smack. I've only seen him specifically, Billy, on TikTok. These little TikTok clips you find of people speaking confidently. But man, this is the definition of a con man, where he speaks so confidently in his setting, but then when he's challenged, he backs down. Because all he came with was just tough words, that confident talk, but there's no substance.
So that's good. So let's deal with that too, because I've actually worked with, there are 2 manuscripts of the Gospel of Barnabas. The Gospel of Barnabas is a really interesting document because it is a known forgery. And so that's why I think it's important to get to these sources. So at the very start of the Gospel of Barnabas, which we only have 2 copies of, one is in Italian and one is in Spanish. We see right off the bat that the Gospel of Barnabas, not to be confused with either the Epistle of Barnabas or the Acts of Barnabas, which are 2 apocryphal documents from the 2nd century, but the Gospel of Barnabas in particular, we know it's a forgery because it does things like in chapter 92, it says that Jesus spent 40 days on Mount Sinai, and then he came to the Jordan River and he walked to Jerusalem. But Mount Sinai is more than a week's journey away from Jerusalem, and neither Mount Sinai nor Jerusalem are close to the Jordan River. Never mind there not being a route from the Jordan River to around Mount Sinai or going to Jerusalem. But there are internal problems with the Gospel of Barnabas, which indicate that it shows no actual indication of evidence of coming from or even having knowledge of first century Jewish understanding. It actually says Jesus is the Christ, but not the Messiah, which...
That's crazy. And it's just a strategic breakdown. Like one of the things I like about today, or in some ways don't like about today, is that we tend to label things as evil without understanding them. But really, that just limits our perspective and our ability to I guess target specific things on why certain things are in error. Like for example, the book of Barnabas, or other so-called holy books, or that attribute, or books that are attributed, that to try to have some association with the Bible. And man, just the strategic breakdown, geography, the timeline, the language. He is cooking this man up.
indicate
So like before we get started, I really like he can't like, first he misspoke, and even in his misspeaking, he can't even run to the book of Barnabas as a defense. That's crazy.
it's that whoever the author is, he didn't know that those were the same words. And I think a bigger problem is that the Gospel of Barnabas actually paraphrases Dante's Inferno, which was written in 1314. So there's a lot of internal evidences that disqualify the Gospel of Barnabas, never mind the fact that we don't have any evidence of it prior to the 14th century, and none in any other language other than Middle Age Italian Italian and Spanish. But the internal content of the Gospel of Barnabas disqualifies it from being ancient. And then the fact that it's doing things like paraphrasing Dante, or it also refers to a rule of the time of Jubilee, which was changed in the Middle Ages from what it was in the biblical year of Jubilee. And it goes with the Middle Ages concept, not the ancient concept. So if there is something that denies the crucifixion, I want to make sure that I'm analyzing it, and that the methodology by which I analyze it actually reveals that the content can be accurately tied to the event. So if we're talking about, say, Codex Sinaiticus, that's in the 4th century. Now that is, I would agree with you, Billy, our oldest copy of the Bible in the sense of cover to cover, Genesis to Revelation copy of the Bible.
Right.
The problem is that we have individual copies of all 4 Gospels going back hundreds of years before Codex Sinaiticus.
He's right.
So I have a facsimile behind me of a piece of...
I'm sorry, I just love how he's like, he's right, and he really just kind of looks away like, what am I doing here? Why am I sitting next to this guy? He's like, this isn't even a debate anymore. This isn't even a lashing. This isn't even a battle. This is literally, okay, son, here's how you hold a sword. You swing it forward. You hold the blade away from the body. You grip it with both hands, okay? And you swing it in such a way that you don't hit your shoulders, your neck. Be careful. It's like, literally, like, look at him. He's just sitting there like, okay, all right, yeah. Like this isn't even a battle. Oh man, this was, and I've been hearing online like apparently Billy wants this whole thing dropped, and we're gonna play the latest clip as far as like, hey, like Billy is officially suing Wesley for some reason for I guess teaching him how manuscripts and biblical history work. But man, this was this was unexpected.
66. This is a late 2nd century copy of the Gospel of John. I work with this particular manuscript. I can just show the screen right here. This is an almost complete copy of the Gospel of John.
I have that papyrus at home.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, so I'll show you
Now he even sounds like a kid. Oh, I have that at home too.
this. So the documents you actually see on my bookshelf behind me are facsimile papyri that I've made. So when I was in Egypt last summer, I went and I made for me some papyrus sheets. And so I take these papyrus sheets, which are made from the papyrus plant, and then when I go and I look at actual manuscripts, so I was at the University of Philadelphia last summer, and I went and I saw a document called P1, which is a 3rd century fragment of the beginning of the Gospel of Matthew. And so what I did is I sat down with that original, and I produced a facsimile. I copied the text. First of all, I cut it out with an X-Acto knife.
Also, I'm pretty sure that's Byron, apologist, by the way, laughing in the background. Subscribe to him. Appreciate you for covering this, because apparently this is hard to get out because he's trying to have YouTube take him down for copyright. But it is kind of funny. It is. I think that's enough so far. The absolute school sit down. Hey, let me teach you how to really go about textual criticism conversation we just watched was a snippet of that whole debate. I'm pretty sure other YouTubers have covered it, but man, in some ways it wasn't that bad, but in other ways you told yourself as this larger than life, I know what the Bible says, Christianity is wrong, they got these facts wrong about Jesus, here's what the data shows, or here's what the information shows, the actual Bible, whatever, the Sinai Bible. And literally in the span of seconds, automatic turn flip, the turns have tabled. But let's get into it, because yeah, he, like, let's just say Billy didn't like getting talked. I guess he did not want to be sit down and taught about actual biblical facts. So let's get into it.
Billy Carson is attempting to sue me. For those of you who don't know, I was invited to interact with Billy on a podcast that he agreed to come on. It was not his podcast, where he was notified beforehand who I was and what we'd be talking about. After that debate took place, Billy attempted to suppress the footage. That didn't really work. I've released clips from that conversation. Well, Billy does not want you to see those clips and has sent me a cease and desist letter. I was really hoping that this could be an opportunity for Billy to learn, to see the major errors that he's been repeating and turn this into...
This man really was teaching him. He was like, this was a chance for you to learn. And he was very sweet. He was very nice. Like, Wes seems to be a nice guy.
A learning experience. I even offered to follow up with Billy in order to show him how and where he could find accurate and credible resources in order to make sure that what he was saying was verifiably correct going forward in the future, so he and his audience could learn and proceed knowledgeably. Billy did not agree, but unfortunately for Billy, agreeing to a debate, losing that debate, and feeling embarrassed about that loss does not constitute legitimate grounds to litigate. Billy, I will agree to all the terms and conditions of the cease and desist letter that you have sent me if you agree to run it back, sit down with me in person, and have another discussion. This is my formal response.
So, Wesley Huff, a base scholar. He's got all types of videos. I've watched a few of them. Certainly very interesting, like, bits and pieces of that debate. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. And what do you think? Do you think that when you lose in a debate, you should sue another person because they sat down and taught you and you couldn't defend against their truth? Or do you think that we should pray for old Billy Carson, because, well, he's seen, like, from what I've seen, like, if you've seen some of the coverage, some of it's on Ruslan, or at least I would say the most, like, concrete stuff. He apparently, something about him showing up at somebody's house with a defamation letter about suing them. I don't know. I don't know too much about that, but he seems to be crashing out. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and see you guys in the next one. That was that was interesting.